I never thought my own parents could humiliate me in front of everyone. My name is Isabella. I'm 26, and last summer in Chicago, they completely excluded me from my brother's wedding. Everyone believed I had no right to be there. But what they didn't know was that I had uncovered a secret, one so powerful, it flipped the wedding upside down. When I revealed it, their perfect image shattered in front of everyone, and I finally got the justice I deserved. Watch till the end. You won't believe the shocking secret that changed everything instantly. Isabella had always loved family gatherings, but last summer's wedding invitation came with a cruel twist. She couldn't believe it when her parents handed her a sealed envelope, coldly saying, "You're not welcome at your brother's wedding." Shock ran through her veins as she read the letter. Her presence was forbidden. She had always been the responsible daughter, helping her parents and supporting her brother's dreams. How could they treat her like this? Her brother, Marcus, was oblivious, or perhaps complicit. The small whispers she overheard during family calls hinted that he had sided with their parents. Isabella felt a mix of anger, betrayal, and disbelief. She spent sleepless nights thinking of how a day meant for celebration had turned into a cruel reminder of rejection. But Isabella was not the kind to crumble. Over the months leading to the wedding, she discovered an old family secret hidden in her parents' financial papers, a secret that would shock everyone if revealed. Her heart raced with the thought of justice. She realized this was her moment to reclaim her dignity and confront the betrayal that had scarred her. The wedding day arrived, the garden sparkling with lights and laughter. Isabella stood outside, unnoticed, while her parents and Marcus mingled with the guests. She felt a strange thrill. Today, she would turn the tables. She carried with her the truth, the one thing they never expected her to reveal. As she prepared to step inside, memories of her parents, cold words and dismissive gestures flashed in her mind. Every humiliating moment, every whispered insult fueled her determination. She wasn't just attending the wedding. She was bringing with her a storm that would shatter the carefully built illusion of her perfect family. And little did they know, by the end of the evening, the entire family would face the consequences of their betrayal. Isabella's secret was about to change everything. The morning of the wedding, Isabella sat in her small apartment, staring at the invitation once more. She could hear the laughter and chatter from the distant garden where her brother and parents were hosting the ceremony. Every laugh felt like a slap, every cheer a reminder of how completely they had shut her out. But Isabella's mind wasn't on hurt anymore. It was on the secret she had discovered months ago. It had been hidden in plain sight, buried in her parents' old financial files. An illegitimate trust fund, a forged will, and documents proving they had manipulated her inheritance to favor Marcus, her own brother. The betrayal wasn't just emotional. It was calculated, cruel, and intentional. Isabella's pulse quickened as she realized this was her chance. She decided not to sneak in quietly. She wanted them all to see her, to feel the shock, to know she was not powerless. Dressed elegantly in a pale blue gown that contrasted with her parents' muted attire, Isabella approached the garden gate. She could see the photographers capturing smiles, unaware that the real story was about to unfold. Her brother, Marcus, caught sight of her and froze. His confident smile faltered as he processed her presence. Whispers started circling among the guests. Isabella felt a quiet satisfaction. This was just the beginning. She clutched a folder containing the documents and old letters that revealed the hidden truth. Her mind raced through every moment of humiliation, every cruel word, every act of exclusion she had endured. Today, she wouldn't just attend the wedding, she would expose everything. As the ceremony progressed, Isabella waited patiently, blending in just enough to go unnoticed, yet ensuring all eyes would eventually turn toward her. The garden sparkled with fairy lights, a symbol of joy that was about to be pierced by revelation. Every detail, from the music to the decor, would be part of the stage for her truth. She finally took a deep breath, feeling a mixture of fear and exhilaration. In moments, the secret she had guarded for months would shatter the illusions her family had maintained. And in that shattering, Isabella would reclaim not just her dignity, but the justice she had long been denied. Isabella felt her heart pounding as the wedding reception reached its peak. Guests were laughing, taking photos, and unaware of the storm about to hit. She had waited for this exact moment, her chance to reveal the secret that had been festering like a hidden wound for years. Her parents were laughing together, talking to family friends, completely oblivious. Marcus was at the center of attention, flaunting his charisma, proud and confident. Isabella felt a rush of anger. How could they act so perfect while she had been treated like an outsider? She carefully positioned herself near the stage, folder in hand. Every step she took was deliberate. She wanted the moment to be unforgettable. The photographer's lens barely caught her shadow, but in moments, every eye in the room would be on her. Pulling out the documents, Isabella's hands trembled slightly. These papers weren't just numbers, they were proof. Proof that her parents had manipulated family finances, forged her inheritance, and intentionally excluded her to favor Marcus. It was more than betrayal, it was a calculated humiliation. The music changed to a slower, ceremonial tune. Isabella knew this was her cue. Stepping onto the stage, she tapped the microphone. Silence fell. Every conversation stopped mid-sentence. Eyes turned, jaws dropped. "I have something to reveal," she began, her voice steady, though her pulse raced. "A secret my parents hoped I would never uncover. A secret that affects not only me but everyone here." Gasps echoed through the garden. Her parents' smiles froze. Marcus' confident expression faltered. Isabella handed the folder to the wedding coordinator and asked them to display the documents to the entire room. Murmurs erupted as people read the truth. Every forged document, every manipulated decision, every hidden lie, it was all out in the open. The garden that had been filled with joy moments ago now felt charged with tension. Her parents' faces turned pale, their composed facade crumbling. Marcus stammered, unable to respond. Isabella took a deep breath, realizing the full power of her actions. This was more than revenge, it was justice. She had transformed from the excluded daughter into the center of truth, holding the power that her family had tried to deny her. And she knew this was only the beginning. The real fallout was about to unfold. The garden fell silent. Guests were frozen, staring at the documents displayed on the screen. Whispers turned into murmurs, murmurs into shocked exclamations. Isabella stood tall, feeling a mix of fear and exhilaration. She had imagined this moment countless times, but seeing her parents' expressions now, pale, trembling, and utterly helpless, surpassed every expectation. Her mother's eyes darted around, unable to meet hers. "Isabella, how?" she stammered. Her father looked rigid, sweat forming at his temples. Marcus, usually so composed, was visibly shaken. For the first time, the perfect image they had maintained for years was crumbling before everyone's eyes. Isabella's voice remained steady. "For years, you thought I wouldn't discover your lies. You thought I would quietly accept being excluded, manipulated, and humiliated. But I promised myself that one day, the truth would come out." The crowd was now fully engaged, gasping at every detail. Guests whispered to one another, shocked by the magnitude of the betrayal. Friends and distant relatives who had always admired her parents were now staring with disbelief. Isabella realized she had not only revealed the truth, she had shifted the balance of power. Her father tried to interrupt, but Isabella raised her hand firmly. "No more lies, no more excuses. Everything is here. Everyone can see who truly controlled the family and who was left in the shadows." Her words echoed across the garden, powerful and commanding. Marcus finally stepped forward, stammering, trying to defend himself. Isabella, I didn't." "You did exactly what they asked," she interrupted, "and now the consequences are real." Isabella felt a surge of satisfaction. Every moment of humiliation she had endured, every whispered insult, had led to this. She had turned from the excluded daughter into the one holding ultimate power, the one who exposed the truth to the world. As the wedding continued around the shocking revelation, Isabella remained calm. She knew this was just the beginning of the fallout. But one thing was certain, her parents and brother would never treat her as powerless again. She had reclaimed her dignity, her justice, and her voice. For the first time in years, Isabella felt a sense of triumph, not just over her family's betrayal, but over the pain they had tried to impose on her entire life. And in that garden, amidst the glittering lights and shocked faces, she finally smiled, truly, unapologetically victorious. The wedding garden, once filled with laughter and celebration, had transformed into a stage of stunned silence. Guests were still murmuring, some in disbelief, others whispering eagerly to their neighbors. Isabella's secret had shaken the foundations of her family's reputation, and the ripple effect was immediate. Her parents huddled together, faces pale and eyes avoiding contact with anyone. Friends who once admired them now glanced at them with pity and suspicion. Isabella felt a strange mix of satisfaction and relief. Justice had been served, yet the tension in the air reminded her that the battle was far from over. Marcus approached her, his expression a mixture of guilt and fear. "Isabella, I didn't mean for any of this," he started, but Isabella held up her hand. "You didn't mean it?" she asked softly, her eyes cutting through his bravado. "You helped them exclude me, let me be humiliated, and now you act surprised. The documents prove everything. There's no excuse." A few guests who had overheard began whispering amongst themselves, some offering supportive nods to Isabella, others exchanging shocked glances toward her parents. The power dynamic had shifted completely. She was no longer the excluded daughter. She was the one commanding attention, the one holding the truth. Her mother tried to speak, voice trembling. "Isabella, please, it was never our intention to hurt you." Isabella shook her head. Intentions don't erase actions, and actions have consequences. By now, Isabella could see the shock in every guest's eyes. The betrayal that her family had hidden for so long had been exposed to the world. Every insult, every moment of exclusion, every whispered attempt to keep her silent had backfired. She felt an empowering thrill run through her. The garden slowly started buzzing again, but this time the energy had shifted. Instead of celebrating her brother's wedding, everyone's attention was fixed on the truth. Isabella walked through the crowd, poised and calm, feeling a sense of triumph she had never experienced before. She had turned the tables entirely. Her secret had not only shocked her family, but had reminded everyone present that betrayal carries consequences. As the evening progressed, whispers of the scandal spread beyond the immediate guests. Isabella's secret was no longer hers alone. It was now a story that would be remembered, a lesson in justice and resilience. She had reclaimed her dignity, exposed the betrayal, and proven that no one could underestimate her again. The evening had descended into a surreal mix of celebration and chaos. Isabella stood at the center of it all, the folder of documents clutched tightly in her hands. Her parents had tried to regain composure, but it was useless. Their perfect image had been obliterated. Every guest in the garden now knew the truth, and whispers of betrayal spread like wildfire. Her father's shoulders slumped, his pride shattered. Her mother's face was pale, eyes wide with fear, as she realized that the secrets she had worked so hard to hide were now public knowledge. Marcus, usually brimming with confidence, looked smaller than ever, ashamed and exposed. Isabella felt a surge of satisfaction. This was the justice she had longed for. But she wasn't done. The ultimate twist was yet to come. Isabella stepped forward and addressed the crowd. "You've seen the truth tonight," she began, voice steady and commanding. "But there's more. The documents aren't just proof. They reveal how deeply my parents manipulated and betrayed me over the years. Their actions affected not only me but everyone around them." Gasps echoed as she revealed the final piece of evidence. A signed confession from an old family lawyer proving the deliberate exclusion of Isabella from all major family decisions, including finances and events. The shock was palpable. Guests exchanged stunned glances, whispering to each other in disbelief. Her parents' eyes filled with tears, their defenses crumbling. "Isabella, we never wanted," her mother started, but Isabella cut her off. "No excuses. No apologies can undo years of betrayal," she said firmly. "Tonight, everyone sees the truth, and tonight I reclaim my life and my dignity." The crowd erupted in murmurs of admiration for Isabella's courage. Some even approached her to offer support and praise for exposing the betrayal. She had transformed from the excluded daughter into the heroine of her own story, standing tall while her family faced the consequences of their deceit. As the wedding continued in an atmosphere of stunned silence, Isabella finally allowed herself a small, victorious smile. She had endured humiliation, heartbreak, and betrayal, but she had turned it all into power. For the first time in years, Isabella felt a deep sense of liberation. She had exposed the lies, shattered the illusions, and ensured that her family would never again underestimate her. Tonight wasn't just about a wedding. It was about justice, strength, and reclaiming control over her own life. And in that glittering garden, under the lights and the shocked gazes of everyone present, Isabella walked away, stronger, unbroken, and victorious.